Hey guys, Larry here, and today I've got the latest from the folks at Olympus. It's their OM-D E-M5 Micro Four Thirds camera, and it's an impressive addition to their mirrorless design with a Micro Four Thirds mount for interchangeable lenses. Now, if you're an Olympus fan from back in the 70s, this camera might look familiar. That's because many of the design cues are taken from the highly regarded Olympus OM-35mm SLR film camera line. So the design and the OM portion of the name pays tribute to those cameras, and the D stands for digital. Olympus already has a popular line of mirrorless, interchangeable lens compact cameras called pen cameras or the pen system, and a line of digital SLRs in their E system. The OM-D fits in between these two classes of camera, giving you the look and feel of a DSLR, but with the mirrorless compact body of the pen series. And even though it's a compact size camera, the OM-D E-M5 has a 16.1 megapixel image sensor that shows a pretty significant jump versus the pen series of mirrorless cameras. Now keep in mind that although Micro Four Thirds cameras are similar to DSLRs in several ways, they do have a 2x crop factor compared to a full frame model. One other quick note about the design: I really like the feel of this camera. The build quality feels high-end, and the ergonomics, how it feels in your hand, is really nice. Consider that DSLRs have viewfinders, while most mirrorless cameras have just the LCD for previewing what you're about to shoot. As somebody who prefers a viewfinder, especially when I'm outdoors shooting in the sun, I really appreciate the OM-D E-M5's electronic viewfinder. It has 100% field of view coverage and up to 1.15x magnification. But let me tell you one more thing about this EVF. Lots of EVFs I've tried over the years have low light and contrast issues, but the thing that really bugs me is image blackout. Some cameras just shut down the EVF and the LCD panel while they process your images. And if you're clicking off one at a time, that's no big deal. But if you're shooting sports or wildlife and you just captured a burst of images, you don't want to have to wait for your images to go from the buffer into the memory card before you can frame up your next shot. I'm pleased to tell you that the OM-D E-M5 doesn't have that problem. The EVF works just like you wish it did. It's got a 3-inch tilting touchscreen OLED monitor with a 610,000 dot resolution and touchscreen functionality that allows you to trigger the shutter release or enlarge the display, advance or reverse a frame, and even select an autofocus area. The camera shoots RAW, JPEG, and MPO. MPO is a 3D digital still file, and you can select from several aspect ratios like a 16:9 widescreen, a 4:3, or a 1:1 ratio that replicates the same format as a square 2¼ medium format frame. The OM-D E-M5 has great low light performance, and you can choose from a wide range of ISO settings all the way up to 25,600 ISO. It's got a 5-axis image stabilization in the body of the camera that corrects for horizontal and vertical shake, as well as roll, pitch, and yaw. And you can activate it by just pressing the shutter button halfway. In my informal test, the OM-D E-M5 grabbed focus really quickly. Another really cool feature is the 2-axis level, so you don't need a bubble level to know if your camera is truly level. This is especially useful for landscape and architectural shooting. I already mentioned that I think this camera is very well built, but that goes beyond the feel of the grip. The layout of the buttons and dials is nice too. It's got 2 dials on top for manual control, and when you're in a normal shooting position, changing settings is easy. You use the dials in conjunction with dedicated function buttons to allow fast setting changes. So it's easy and pretty intuitive to adjust highlight and shadow, exposure, white balance, aspect ratio, and more. One thing I didn't expect is how well this camera can withstand the elements. The magnesium alloy and aluminum body itself is ready for harsh environments. It's dust-proof and splash-proof, and it has ring-shaped seals at various points. And Olympus even has a product shot of this camera with beads of water all over it on their website. So Olympus wants you to know that splash-proof isn't just another bullet point on their spec sheet. And when it comes to eliminating dust, the sensor vibrates silently 30,000 times a second to eliminate dust. The camera even has a weatherproofed slot for SD, SDHC, and SDXC memory cards. It's also been shutter tested to last 100,000 cycles. So not only is it built to withstand the elements, it's also built to last. It's got some really cool creative features and 11 built-in art filters that allow you to create dramatic effects in camera and view the effects in the camera's displays. A few of the filters are pop art, pinhole, grainy film, and keyline. Now, I talked about burst mode earlier and how I like that there's no image blackout while buffered images get saved. But I didn't mention that the OM-D E-M5 grabs 9 frames per second in burst mode. Of course, this is helpful for capturing fast action like sports, wildlife, or auto racing. The camera comes with a removable pop-up flash and a hot shoe that also accepts optional external flashes. Or you can use wireless flashes, including the Olympus FL-300R or the FL-600R. When it comes to movies, the OM-D E-M5 shoots in full HD video. And if you really know what you're doing with digital video capture, you'll appreciate the full manual control over aperture and shutter speed. The camera records up to 1080i60 format, and it saves clips as MOV files, or 720p and standard definition files are saved as AVI motion JPEG. The camera comes in silver or black, as just the body or in a kit with an M-Zuiko Olympus lens, either 14 to 42 millimeters or this 12 to 50 millimeter lens, which are equivalent to a 28 to 84 millimeter or a 24 to 100 millimeter lens in 35 millimeter format respectively. There are also other Olympus Micro Four Thirds lenses available that work with the camera, about a dozen and growing. And if you're thinking about using a 4/3 lens, there's also an MMF-2 adapter for using Olympus 4/3 lenses on the OM-D E-M5's Micro Four Thirds mount. Different things will appeal to different photographers. Maybe you like the retro design look and feel, or the compact size. Or maybe you've been hoping for a mirrorless camera with a really great EVF. Whatever your motivation, if you're in the market for a nice, high-quality, well-built mirrorless camera, you need to look at the OM-D E-M5 from Olympus. With the Olympus OM-D E-M5, I'm Larry Becker.
For more information, please visit us online, give us a call, or stop by our New York City Superstore. You can also connect with us on the web.